Welcome everyone to Forensic Lectures. Today, in this video lecture, we will be going to see physical evidence. So, what we will cover today? What is physical evidence? Nature and type, search methods, collection, preservation and packing, and lastly, the chain of custody. So, let us first move on to what is physical evidence? Any tangible item or evidence like an object that can be touched or held that is found at a crime scene. Like when we go to a crime scene, whatever object that is there in a crime scene evidence and found, there it will be like we can see through our naked eye and we will be able to touch it, like it will have some physical properties. It connects victim to the suspect, means that item which is there or the evidence which is there, it will connect the victim or the suspect to the crime scene, that there was the presence of this person at that place at that particular time. Then it is a material object that is used as an evidence to prove a fact in issue. Here it is not a fact, a fact. A fact in issue based on the physical characteristics, means that particular object will prove the fact that why it is present and what is the use of it, or how we can prove that a particular person was present at the crime scene. Then moving to the nature and type, here we have the nature of physical evidence is like same as that of the nature of physical matters, like it will have color, it will have certain hardness, it might be little hard or soft, then malleability, the melting point and all that, then solubility, electrical conductivity, density, melting point, boiling point, like whatever the matter's physical property are there, the matter, any substance that we can feel or we can touch or we can like we say held in our hand or we can visualize it, that thing is same as this matter. Then moving to the physical matter is also called as real evidence. I mean this nature, or we can say this nature of this physical evidence make it as a real evidence, because every person who visits or who is at a crime scene can see it through their naked eye, like an object we can say, if there was the presence of any knife or the weapon used in a crime scene, that it will be a real evidence, right? Then it is also known as indirect type of evidence. Indirect type means what? If we found a hair or a piece of glass at a crime scene, then it will lead us to certain conclusion, right? So it is also known as an indirect type of evidence, and it is of two types, that is living physical evidence and non-living physical evidence. When we say living physical evidence, means it should be a living thing, like the biological evidence, like it source is from the living being, like blood or any bacteria, or we can say other type of living things which are present over there. Then the non-living things, here we have hair, fiber, glass, which doesn't have life. They are basically divided into two types. Then next, moving on to the next topic, that is search methods. So depending on the criteria, that is first one, here we have uh, type of crime scene. So it depends basically on two things. First thing is the type of crime scene, and the second one is the number of investigators present, means how many investigating officers were there at the time of investigation at a crime scene. The search methods depends on them. So the first one we have is a inward spiral search pattern. So in this inward spiral search pattern, okay, you can see at this side, here we have this images, right? So this image, the second one, represent this inward spiral search pattern. What does it say? States that the crime scene investigation starts at the perimeter of the scene and works towards the center. Like you can see here, the person has started from here and then taking a spirals and moving inward way. That it is moving the from the parameter, means the edge, or we can say the entry point, is starting and ending it in the center. The spiral pattern is a good method to use when there is only one investigating officer. So when we use this, means we have spiral method, it is divided into two, inward and outward. But when we have I said like number of investigators present does matter, right? So whenever there is one investigating officer, the spiral method will be followed. Then the outward spiral search pattern, it is exactly the opposite. Like the investigating officer will stand at the center of the crime scene. So here in this image you can see, right, it starts from, the arrow is ending at the end, right? So he will be starting from the center and moving spirally outward. Okay, so and it will add at the parameter outside, like the exact opposite word. Then the next we have is a parallel search method. So here this image tell us how this parallel search method will look. All the members of the crime scene team forms a line. Like here in this method we have more than one investigating officer, that it might be 2, 3 or 4. Like they will, if there are 4 members, so in this diagram we have 1, 2, 3 and 4 investigating officer. So what they will do is that they will walk in a straight line at the same speed from one end of the crime scene to the another. Like see, from here they will move till here, but what will be there, they will be in coordination with each other. Like they will take step by step. Like if this person is taking one step, second person at the same time will take the first step of his. Like they will be in coordination with each other. Okay, so next we have is a grid search pattern. So in this, here we have the grid search pattern. This first image depicts the diagram here. A grid search pattern is simply two parallel searches offset by 90 degree performed one after the other. Like we have this parallel method, right? In same way here what will happen, this will be also in the team, when the investigating officers will be more than 1 or 2 or maybe 3 to 4. Okay, same way over here. So what will happen here is that the investigating officer, they will conduct this parallel search method. Okay, but in this grid format. Okay, like they will form boxes. First they will move from here to here, here to here, and then from here to there, here to there, like forming this type of pattern. But this will be same like we have seen, right? In parallel, they will be in coordination with each other. Then coming to the zone search pattern, here this last diagram, here it is there. So this is how the zone search pattern is. Like it will say, in a zone search pattern, the crime scene investigating officers, whoever is in charge, they will divide the crime scene into sectors, and each team member take one section. Like here the room is divided into 4 parts, right? Here you can see, right, in this diagram. So what will happen, all if there are 4 officers, they will divide it into 4 sections, and each officers will be in charge of each section. The team members may switch sectors and search again to ensure complete coverage. Means in this particular first box, we can say the investigating officer can use any of this method, like the grid method or the spiral inward, spiral outward, or the parallel method. Okay, whatever it is there, he will use it in here. Second officer will be starting hit in his own zone, like we can say, if this person has used spiral inward method, this person can use the spiral outward method. Okay, when this zone search method is used, when the crime scene is big, means the area not in a room but the outdoor crime scene, like we have a crime scene happening at the beach area or outside in an amusement park. Okay, somewhere like that type of area, it is not possible, right, to work in parallel or in a grid format coordinating with each other. So they do this zone search pattern. Okay, then moving on to, okay, here I have left this. Then there is wheel search methods. This wheel search method is not used nowadays, but still we'll discuss this. That is, in this wheel search method, what will happen, like where the search begins at the center and moves outward. Like if the scene is there, no, we will consider it in a circle, and we'll take a center point over there. Okay, and investigating officers, they will stand in facing backwards to each other. Okay, so the number of people searching at the crime scene has to be more than means more than one individual. So what they will do, like here in parallel method, right, they are moving in coordination with each other. Same way here they will do the same, but they are starting from the center and moving to the outside. They will do this with coordination with each other. Okay, like this pattern will be formed. Then let us move on to the next part, that is collection and preservation. Here it is, sorry, typing mistake, preservation. Okay, preservation and packing. We'll see collection, preservation and packing of the physical evidence. So first here we have is the collection. Depending on the nature of physical evidence, it should be collected separately. So if the nature, like we have in nature we have different properties, right? It can be in the solid state, molten state, right, or it might be in the liquid state. Depending on the state of that physical evidence, we should consider the collection separately. While collecting any physical evidence, there should always be collection of control sample. So what do you mean by a control sample? Like if we take the example of a chart document, means the burn document, right? The half part, in certain cases we might find the half part of the document is burnt and other part is unburnt. So we need to take both the part of the sample. Like the burnt part will be our evidence and the unburnt part will be considered as a control sample. Like if we have a fire arson case, there in that room there will be a sofa, right? If the sofa is half burnt, we will take a small portion from that sofa, right, from the burnt part. It will be considered as the evidence, and the other part which is unburnt, that sample which we collect, it is known as the control sample. There are different types of collection techniques. Okay, so few example is like hand picking, tape lifting, sweeping, swabbing, vacuuming, and etc. Like hand picking means what, like we have other evidences like hair or nail, cigarette butts, right? What we can do is pick them with hand, or we can say using gloves or razor, right? Then tape lifting means fingerprints which are there after making it visible, or after applying the powders to the fingerprint, we can tape lift them. Then sweeping, in a large crime scene, if we need to collect hair, then we can use this sweeping method, or while collecting the soil sample. Then swabbing means the blood splatter is there, we can swab it using cotton bud, right? Then again vacuuming, if the dust or the arson particle we need to collect which are on the floor, then we can vacuum the floor. The quality should be collected sufficiently, that is not in excess or not very less. Sorry, e here, excess. Okay, so the quality should not be in excess quantity, or it should not be very less. Then next, moving on to the preservation part, that is again same thing, that is based on the nature or the type of evidence. First step in this is to preserve by photography. This is very important, photography, because before collecting any evidence, we should do what? Photography. This is the first preservation method. Then coming to the biological evidence, like sorry, here again there is a typing mistake. Blood stain can be preserved in we can use the plastic ziploc bag for this dried blood sample. Okay, here it is dried blood sample. They can be collected, means they can be stretched and collected in this plastic ziploc bags, like hair, or we can say glass. Then moving on to the next thing, that is packing of the evidence. So the standard or the known standard or the known, and the evidence and the unknown item must be packed separately. So standard or the known means what? Whatever the standard evidences are there, like the physical evidence which can be known, like which we can see through our naked eyes, or which we can feel it is there, like physically present over there. And others like this unknown, or the evidence, like we don't know from which part of that crime scene, or like from where it has arrived. That item must be packed separately. All the packing container must be sealed and marked. This is very important, because sealing is essential, because without sealing, the FSL or the other police investigator higher ups, they might not accept the evidence, because once it is sealed, it cannot be the evidence cannot be tampered. Then marking should be there, means what type of evidence is present in that particular sealed packing container. Okay, then labeling is very important after packing the evidence. we should do the labeling of that particular evidence. Like in a one crime scene we may find more than one evidence, right? So we should label it properly. Like a glass piece from one place, we might find the glass pieces over different areas, so we should mark with numbers and we should give labeling. Then there should be descriptionary notes specifying the case number and also the chain of custody. Like the evidence which is present on the label, there should be a note specifying what type of evidence it is, how it should be handled, okay, what where it is found, what is the evidence number, what is the case number, who has investigated it, the investigating officer's name, and all that thing has to be specified, and the chain of custody should be there. So now let us see what does this chain of custody means. So what is a chain of custody? It is an unbroken and properly documented trial without gaps from crime of scene till the laboratory or till the court of law. Like, or we can say the chronological paper trial documenting when, how, and by whom individual item. This is very important: when, how, and by whom the individual item of physical evidence were collected, handled, analyzed, or controlled during an investigation. So here we can say if the investigating officer is the one who is collecting the evidence, so first the chain of custody will start from that place, like the details of the person handling the evidence with date and time and reason. So what should be there? Date, time, and reason. Okay, it should be mentioned. These are very important things over there. So the first person detail is of the officer collecting the evidence. Every person who will be handling after him, whatever, for whatever reason it is, like we can say for transport, for analysis, should enter their details, okay, and this date, time, and reason. And after analysis also, the item should be packed in the original packing, okay. So the packing is also very important, and reseal in a new packing means the seal should be resealed, that it has been opened and now they are resealing, means this process basically happens at the forensic science laboratory. After the analysis is done, then only the jury will accept. If the chain of custody is missing, the jury will not accept the evidence during the trial, okay. During the trial, the jury, which whoever it is there, if the chain of custody is missing, then he will not accept the evidence. Or also the seals and the packing is very important. So thank you guys, this was for today. Do like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you.